Okay. Nice little launch. Turn the back around here. Yeah, this is why I like the Nano Talon. I was wanting to fly today, but I really didn't feel like going all the way over to my neighbor's house and splashing around out in the pasture out there, because I know it's really, really wet.
17 minutes.
Well, with this, I can easily just grab it, run out here and launch it out of my backyard. It's one of the few planes I have that I can really do that. Because as you can see, my backyard with all the trees is actually better flying for a quad than it is most of my planes. This one's maneuverable enough, and I can land it in the small areas out here and turn it around and come over to my back neighbor's yard like this, and then cut in right here, and I'm on my approach for a landing. Can't do that with my bigger planes. So this is just real handy to do a quick grab and go right in the backyard. I have a good video on it with a of course the Caddx Turtle on it, and it keeps everything real light and still records in high definition. That what you see right there in front of you is the field that I would normally fly out of. And I know it is, we got some rain last night, and it is really wet out there. So I just fly it from my place. I'm also flying this with the L9R. And for those of you that are not familiar with the L9R, it's FR Sky's 2.4 gigahertz semi-long range receiver. It does a really good job. I have the confidence to fly out even without a flight controller on board giving me RSSI. I still have confidence in this receiver to fly a mile out, so long as I don't get any trees or anything between me and the plane.
15 minutes.
Of course, that's my countdown timer on my Tyrannus. With a flight controller on board, this receiver, believe it or not, I've seen it go out to over 29 kilometers. And very surprising for a 2.4 gigahertz setup. Yeah, here's the field that I would normally fly out of. You can see I'm quite a ways from the house right now, and I've never had an issue with it.
$14 minutes.
It's a real easy little plane to fly. Very inexpensive, and if set up correctly, as you can see, it'll do a lot of different things. Is it as fast as my other planes? Absolutely not. Is it as aerobatic? No, but it's aerobatic enough. Let me switch modes, taking it out of stabilized mode. So it's plenty aerobatic enough. I tend to fly it, especially in any kind of wind, I tend to fly it with the stabilizer on. It just makes it easier and for a much more enjoyable flight.
13 minutes.
It has the same or a very similar flight stabilizer as the Recruit has in it. Of course, they're both made by the same company. This is a Zod Nano Talon, and the Recruit is the RMRC, which is, they're both manufactured by Sonic Models. So it uses the same flight stabilizer, and it just programmed differently. I found them to be very reliable little stabilizers, and makes launching and just cruising around, especially if you're in any kind of wind, just a whole lot easier.
Minutes.
And of course, I'm recording this video in my Fat Sharks just in case something were to happen. I'd have a good idea as to where it's going down in. I have a beeper on board the plane. Just one of those little cheap ones that you get from Banggood that plugs directly into your throttle. And if your throttle is at 0, or if it's totally lost signal and goes fail-safe into 0 throttle mode, after I believe it's 60 seconds, it'll start beeping at you. As long as you keep applying some throttle on it, though, it's not supposed to beep. Some of those little beepers I've had problems with. They just beep regardless, but for the most part they work pretty good. They're not the loudest in the world, but they've certainly helped me find planes that have gone down in the past. Especially if they go down in like areas of brush or high grass or anything. It just makes it a whole lot easier to find. One drawback on those beepers though is if you do kill the throttle for over a minute, like if you're way up high like this and turn around and kill the throttle and descend, if it's for over 60 seconds, that beeper's going to go off, and it's going to continue to go off until you unplug the battery. The other thing is that, of course, if the battery is ejected,
10 minutes.
If the battery is ejected, then the beeper doesn't sound. It doesn't have its own backup battery function. Come over here and buzz Chris, the guy that's dismantling my old trailer. The wind's picking up and knocking it around a little bit right now.
9 minutes.
My weather station, which the wind gauge part of it is mounted about 20, I think around 25 feet above the ground. And it was showing gusts occasionally up to about 8 miles an hour. I don't think it's quite that bad right now, but it's still enough to just bump it around a little bit. See, it'll turn real sharp. It does have full rudder control on it. It's a V-tail.
8 minutes.
V-tail aircraft like the Beechcraft Bonanza. Oh, yeah, that was a gust of wind.
Seven minutes.
Dive it on down. Flying this on a 1500 milliamp 3S right now. An old pack. Gosh, this pack's got to be at least 3 years old. But it still works.
Six minutes.
Yeah, it's heading directly into the wind right now. As you can see, it's almost just hanging in the air. Let me see if I can slow it down to where it does. It's virtually hanging there. Do a little 360.
Five minutes.
Wind's already wanting to push me on around. Okay. Let's bring her down. Good flight. There you go, Cap. That was for you. And you can see, giving you a pretty good reason to go ahead and put the money down on one of these things. I will catch you guys on the next one.